1/4 inch tread. Rear lock's missing, but you can open it easy enough. Most of this comes with the car. That's extra turbo for my Thunderbird. I'll get that out later. It's got a braided pull line. There's the shop manuals. The bottom part of the driver's side dash. The rest of the dash is pretty awesome shape. There's no cracks in the top except for like this one, this little smidgen of a crack right there. And then there's this in the bottom half where I guess they took the radio out in a hurry or someone stole it. Shift boot, this centerpiece I took out to get the shift boot on. And that's not the right shift boot. It doesn't quite fit right. The seats actually look really good, especially for the year. This passenger seat's actually better shape than the driver's seat, but yeah, the stuff's in it. And the latches and everything work on it. This is the spare tire cover, spare front end, a little front valence, spare window glass. That's looks like a wind guard or whatever. Right there, the carpet's all good. Maybe need a little steam cleaning. Rear leather's good. The windows are the pop-open windows. So, like rear smoker windows, I guess. Something along those lines. The seats lay down. All kinds of good stuff. There's ashtrays on each side. In the back. It's actually kind of an uncommon thing for that era. There's the stock air system, air filter. It's a K&N air filter, which are lifetime warranties, so you can pretty much exchange it for another stock K&N air filter. It does have a Spectre cone filter, which I can get a better Spectre cone filter for $15 since I work at O'Reilly's. The door panels, pretty good shape, firmly in place. This little cubby I just noticed came loose on the bottom. Same with that door panel, it's actually in pretty good shape. Car's nasty. That's the new ignition switch I put in. Everything was already taken off the steering column. I don't even know how much was on the steering column because I don't know how much this covered, but I know that there's at least like a plastic valance over the top of it. As you saw in my video, the digital stuff right there works, all the sensors work. Haven't tried AC. The entire AC system looks pretty new. So I really couldn't tell you about how well it's working. Hood latch is nice and tight, which is kind of a rarity for these cars. Then here's your under engine. This tested good. I was going to take the TFI module off the distributor, which is right down there, and test it at AutoZone. I've got an extra one that I thought was bad on my T-Bird, and I took it in the other day and tested it, and it tested fine, which, turbo coupe, by the way. So I'm pretty familiar with this engine. It's just, this intermittent idling problem is driving me crazy. I can answer pretty much any questions you have about it so far as what I know in troubleshooting. I replaced the throttle position sensor, which is brand new. I wired in a 3-wire O2 sensor, which was that nonsense right there. I couldn't find a pigtail that would fit. Little did I realize after I wired that in, after I cut the pigtail off the oxygen sensor, that all you needed was a 4-wire pigtail and just not wire up the fourth pigtail. Because the 3-wire is a lot bigger. It's MSD wires. It's a factory coil. Looks like a Motorcraft distributor cap. It's probably a Motorcraft rotor button. The brake reservoir holds fluids. Radiator has a small leak, which is common for these because they're plastic. When they get hot, they crack. A lot of these little rubber seals and stuff are dry rotting. I don't know why they had the new front valence. I guess for something like this little crack here or something, but I mean that's easily fixable. A little crack. Really not much reason to do that. The filter's not on it. And that's the filter I was talking about. All in all, it's a pretty decent car. That's a Kirkland battery from Costco. And I didn't put it in here, so I don't have a warranty on it, but O'Reilly's tested it as bad. It holds enough of a charge if it was used daily, it would hold its charge, but you leave it setting for about a week and it dies. The power steering pump is seized, which is why there's no belt on it. AC compressor spins freely. All the AC stuff looks really new, so I don't know if they just painted it and shined it, but the foil's off of it, so I'm assuming that they had to replace it. And so the AC in it may actually work just fine. If you look down in here, power steering reservoir, that thing is clean. So my guess is they tried to run this new power steering pump without any fluid in it or something, and it seized it up, or they just stuck it on and never put fluid in it, and so it's partially seized. So it could probably be unseized with some Krill oil or WD-40 or something. Suspension wise, this thing is, like I said, I drove it around the block, and I drove it around the block. The Guibo didn't rattle, no pops from U-joints or any crap like that. The suspension's really tight on it. I took it around a couple corners pretty hard. The one time I really got it to run really well. And tires, the back tire's a little low from sitting, but the suspension's pretty tight on it. It cornered exceptionally well. This is what I was talking about, the play. The e-brake works fantastic, which is good, but that's the play I was talking about. So it's got about 2.5 inches of play in there. It goes in all gears just fine. I took it all the way up through 5th. Yeah, I went around the block kind of fast. But it's got about 2.5 inch diameter circle that you can go around the gear once it's in gear. So that's the slop I was talking about in the shift forks, probably from at one point someone did some heavy driving and shift too hard, bend the gears, especially with this long factory gear shifter on it, not having a short throw. Speedometer, tachometer, fuel gauge, temperature gauge all work, which is also a rarity for these cars. Normally the speedometer is dead. Interior lights all work. This one, I guess, overheated at one point, which is not so uncommon. This plastic is very brittle, so it's cooked. Sunroof opens and closes. The handle is missing its knob, but you just crank it on open and it comes open just fine. So aside from that, that's pretty much the full tour of the car. If you have any more questions, just shoot me a message, and I'll be more than happy to answer them.